Okay guys, last couple of topics na lang tayo sa political law, no? Ito po, tinatanong din sila madalas, no? Pero sa apat na to, kailangan talaga ito. Kaya mas marami tayong sinulit. Ito talaga ang pinaka-important talaga, no? Kasi kung di man lalabas sa political, sa remedial, di ba? Kung di man sa political, sa remedial lalabas yan. Kasi di ba Rule 113 to, vacantless arrest, Section 5. Okay, dito muna tayo sa freedom of religion at saka expression. We will tackle them parang sabayan. Tandaan nyo, di ba, may dalawang usual topics sa freedom of religion, Section 5, di ba? Establishment clause at saka free exercise clause. Okay, ang expectation ko, ako dati, nung nag-aaral ako, ngayong lawyer na ako, expectation ko is yung free exercise clause ang itinatanong madalas sa bar. Which makes sense, no? Kasi nga, andyan yung mahabang doctrine sa sa Estrada case, di ba, versus Escritor, yung benevolent neutrality, strict, di ba, yung tolerance, di ba, we tolerate, di ba, religious expression and so on and so forth. Ganyan yung dialogue. Tapos may dalawang test to determine if yung regulation is valid, di ba? Clear and present danger test at saka strict scrutiny test. On the other hand, establishment clause, yung a law was made respecting the establishment of a religion, di ba? Basically, binigyan ng pera yung isang church or bumuo ng church. Or sinusweldohan yung miyembro ng church na yun. Something like that, no? Ah, yan po yung establishment clause, no? So, based po sa mga bar questions, no? At recently lang din, ano po ang normaling lumalabas na tanong sa bar? Pag pala freedom of religion. Lemon test po, establishment clause. Why? It makes sense po kasi dahil pag sinabi mo kasing free exercise clause, it's expression, religious expression, religious speech, religious exercise, religious utterance. Kung magbabanggit na lang, sabi mo, tingnan natin pattern na lang pag isip tayo ng bar exam. Kung magtatanong na lang po ng about sa expression, about sa speech, about sa utterance ng religion, magtatanong na lang ng Section 4, freedom of expression, speech, assembly, and so on and so forth. Kaya, kaya nilagay ko pareho yan kasi lagi po silang natatanong pareho. In fact, itong freedom of expression na tanong ng bar ko. Okay? Natanong ng bar ko. Ganun ako lagi. Naalala ko talaga. Yung ibang mga topics kasi naalala ko pa rin yung mga tinanong sa amin. Naalala ko yung tinanong sa amin. No law, a law was passed, no? Punishing any criticism against the parang justices of the Supreme Court. Something like that yung tanong. Is this law unconstitutional? Freedom of expression yon. Okay? Ngayon, tandaan nyo sa freedom of religion, well, ang duda ko dyan talaga, lemon test tayo tatanungin. Kasi nga, kung matatanong man tayo about free exercise clause, tingnan nyo yung test. Clear and present danger at saka strict scrutiny. Ano yung test dito sa prior restraint, content-based? Same. Strict scrutiny, clear and present danger. So ano ibig ko sabihin dito? Saan kayo matanong dyan? Expression, content-based regulation? Either way, ready dapat kayo pag natanong kayo ng content-based regulation, ano ang sasabihin nyo? As a general rule, di ba? The regulation is unconstitutional because it regulates speech. No? However, di ba? If it passed the test of, sabihin natin, clear and present na lang gamitin nyo. Kasi yung strict scrutiny, guys, no? Tingnan nyo sa expression, andun siya. Sa religion, andun yan. Nasa equal protection clause din siya. I need to breathe. At saka, due process. Andun siya lagi in strict scrutiny. Ano ba yung requisites ng strict scrutiny test? Compelling state interest at saka narrowly tailored to accomplish the interest and least restrictive means were employed to accomplish that interest. Basically, yun yan. Tatlong phrases. Compelling state interest, narrowly tailored, least restrictive means. para po sa akin, mas precise yung clear and present danger test kasi nga, yan yung focus talaga yan sa section 4 and 5. Doon mo talaga makikita yan. Di ba? Clear and present danger ano ba yun? That will likely produce substantial evil which the state has the right to prevent. Something like that. Likely, kaya likely, no? Yan ang gamitin nyo sa bar. So, ang sinasabi ko lang, ito pala yung what I want to drive, what I want to point out sa inyo, guys. Expectation nyo, matatanong kayo dyan about sa clear and present danger test. Ngayon, magkakatalo na lang tayo kung sa expression o sa religion lalabas yan. Pero matatanong kayo. Kasi tinanong ito, I think, if my memory serves me right, 2023, ang Lemon Test tinanong eh. Titignan ko ah. Okay, let's check. Yap, natanong siya. Sandali lang. I need to be precise with this one. Kung kailan siya natanong. Kasi alam nyo, kung yan, kung late, like, matagal na siya natanong, like 2018, 2017, malaki chance sa matanong to sa bar nyo. 2016 to, wait, ito. Okay. So, baka naman siguro, if ever matanong mo kayo sa freedom of religion, check nyo na lang pareho, no? It was asked, question number 10 siya sa, question number 10, 2023 bar, yung lemon test. Pero we need to guard ourselves lang din kasi baka matanong ulit. May mga pagkakataon po kasi nag-back-to-back senior tinanong. Anyway, ang gusto ko lang sabihin sa inyo, yung clear and present danger test, whether freedom of expression yan, content-based regulation, or free exercise clause sa freedom of religion, applicable siya. So, we need to learn how to apply this one. Okay, so sa lemon test muna tayo. No? So, basahin na lang natin yung 2023 na tanong, no? Saan ba yun? Okay. The Secretary of DepEd issued DO number 35, providing guidelines for teaching good manners and right conduct in all primary educational institutions. So may GMRC. GMRC sa lahat, okay? As part of the materials to be used during the sessions, the Handbook for Instructors contains a chapter on values from religious traditions and indigenous cultures. Okay, so may isang topic, may isang chapter, tinatakil yung relihiyon. Diba? Sa Pilipinas yan, religious traditions and indigenous cultures. The DepEd will provide the handbooks, but educational institutions shall be free to adapt the contents of the handbook in accordance with their respective mission and vision. Attendance at the sessions shall be compulsory for all students. Kasi nga, graduhan yan, GMRC yan di ba? Sali yan sa honor. Malalaman kung honor ka o hindi. Okay? Tuloy tayo. Concerned parents and teachers question DO number 35 before the Supreme Court as being violative of ayan na nga, establishment clause. Are the parents and teachers correct? The answer is no. So, in order to determine if the freedom of religion was violated under Section 5 of the Bill of Rights, we have to apply the Lemon Test. Okay? Kasi establishment clause po ito. The following are the tests to determine whether the establishment clause was violated. First, what ba it? Okay. The law has a secular legislative purpose. So, if secular yan, pasado. Hindi siya in violation of the Constitution. Kapag non-secular, violation siya. Kasi that means, pag sinabi mong non-secular, you are favoring, tawag dito, you are favoring a religion. Okay, next. Second, the law's principal and primary effect must be one that neither advances nor inhibits religion. Ano po ang words na kailangan nyo matandaan? Secular, primary, and last test, ito, no? And third test, the law must not foster an excessive government entanglement with religion. Entanglement. Okay? So, ano yung mga kailangan nyo matandaan? Secular, primary, entanglement. Ang pinaka-important po yung first at saka yung second. Kasi, i-determine muna natin, like, i-apply natin dito sa DO number 30, no? What is the purpose of this DO number 35? The purpose is secular in nature. Why? We're just trying to teach these children good manners and right conduct. We're not trying to teach them a religion. We're not trying to teach them, ano ba? We're not trying to convert these children, no, to another, to join another religion. We're not trying to alienate them. We're not trying to give them new ideas, to give them ideas about joining new sects. Hindi po, new sects. No. We're just trying to teach them GMRC. That's a secular legislative purpose kasi lahat tayo dapat maganda ang pag-asa. Next. What's the principal and primary effect? Actually, yung second test dito sa lemon test ang favorite ko. Yung second. Kasi you will, in this case mo, madedetermine natin primary at saka incidental. That's your word dapat. Second, dapat. DO number 35's primary effect did not advance religion, did not advance did not advance a specific religion because, no, the primary effect of this law is to, ano ba, to build, no, model citizens, no, or good role models, no, in the future. Okay. The fact that religious traditions, no, religious sacraments were tackled or were mentioned in a chapter of the handbook is merely incidental to this primary purpose. Yan ang mga dialogue. So, ang opposite po ng secular, non-secular. Siyempre, no? So, sabihin nyo dyan, the purpose of this department order is secular, was secular because the department was just trying to teach the children GMRC. Second, the primary effect, no? Primary intention, primary purpose of this law, no, was to develop, no, role models. Role models, ano ba dito? Law-abiding citizens, yan, in the future. The fact that religious traditions, religious sacraments, religious ano ba, dogmas, mga ganyan, were mentioned in a chapter of the book. No? This is merely incidental. Lastly, the law does not foster an excessive entanglement with religion because all of the book, the whole book, except for one chapter, was actually uh, about good manners and right conduct. Only one chapter was about religious traditions and indigenous cultures. Thus, it did not entangle excessively with religion. Ganon ang sagot. So, di ba, sabi ko nga sa inyo, kapag may mga test na ganyan, requisites, conditions, just apply each line. Okay, so yan sa lemon test, sa free exercise clause tayo, combine natin sa ano na, yung clear and present danger test. After nito, tackle natin yung rulemaking power of the Supreme Court. And then, syempre, save the best for last, search and seizure. Ito, i-reiterate ko to. Nabanggit ko na to sa review. Nabanggit ko na to sa review for REM and Poly. Nabanggit ko na rin sa REM, pre-week. Babanggitin ko na naman sa Poly pre-week. I mentioned this 4 times. I hope madali natin talaga ma-get nyo, no? Sa mga enrollees, ma-get nyo talaga. And even sa mga nag-avail lang po ng pre-week, tinakil natin 2 times ng search and seizures, no? I hope we're able to, ano ba, to drive our point across sa inyo. Okay. So, next tayo, no? Clear and present danger. Okay. Gusto kong punta doon sa, ano, sa bar. Sa barko. Criticism. Criticism. Yan. Second question, 2020-2021 bar. A law is passed penalizing any criticism of any sitting member of the Supreme Court on any media platform. Bawal daw. The penalty is higher when the criticism is made through social media. Is this law constitutional? Explain briefly. No, the law is unconstitutional. Case law dictates that a content-based regulation, actually, may kulang ako dito eh. Pero pwede ko naman na siguro bigay sarili ko ng 5 over 5 dito. Pero kung sasagot talaga ako ng full na full dito, before ako nag-mention ng case law, bilanggit ko muna yung under the Constitution, no law shall be passed, abridging, the freedom of expression, and so on and so forth. That's what I should have done first. Anyway, tuloy tayo sa sagot ko. Case law dictates that a content-based regulation is a regulation based on the subject matter of the utterance or the speech. Pag sinabi mo kasing content-based, we are regulating the what the contents of the speech. Ganun lang yung subject matter of the utterance or the speech. Ang hirap. The subject matter. The way I understand it, when you say content-based regulation, we are regulating the content of the speech. On the other hand, pag sinabi mong content-neutral regulation, we're only regulating the incidents of the speech, such as the time, the place, the date, when the speech can be made. As a general rule, content-based regulation is unconstitutional kasi it abridges the freedom of expression. As an exception, it is not unconstitutional if the speech is of such a nature, as to create a clear and present danger that they will bring about the substantive evils that the lawmakers has a right to prevent. Okay, so ano yung mga kailangan nyo maalala doon? Clear and present danger bring about substantial evils, which the state has the right to prevent. Actually, wag na ngayong that the lawmaker has the right to prevent. Siyempre, may substantial evil. E di, siyempre, the state can prevent it. Di ba? So, tandaan nyo lang yung clear and present danger, substantial evil o substantive evil. In this case po, the general rule must apply. Because the law penalizing any criticism, there was no clear and present danger that the criticism against a sitting member of the Supreme Court will bring about a substantive evil which the state has the right to prevent. It does not have a clear and present danger. Okay? So, paano ba? Actually, slippery slope kasi ito yung freedom of speech, tapos compare mo sa libel, compare mo sa inciting to sedition. It's ang hirap. When is the speech? When is there clear and present danger basically? And when is there clear and present danger, and when is this absent? We need to use our talaga logic, common sense, analytical skills sa bar in order to determine if may clear and present ba or wala. Like pag inciting to sedition talaga siya, na patobin natin ang gobyerno, mga ganun dialogue, patanggalin natin yung mga nakaupo, mga ganyan ng dialogue, that can be regulated already. No, kasi baka pwede na sabihin inciting to sedition siya. So clear and present danger na siya. Okay. Or direct assault, di ba? Ay, di pala direct assault. Lumayo na, di ba? Direct assault. Inciting to sedition. Okay. Ayan, no? So, in this case po, ulitin ko, it was an unconstitutional law because it was a content-based regulation. Kasi in this case po, we are penalizing the content of the speech. What's that content? Criticism. Yun yung hinahanap natin. Di ba? Ganyan malalaman kung content-based o content-neutral. Criticism. We're talking about the laman. the meat of the speech. Okay, so you get the point. Next tayo. Clear and present. One more. One more ikot. Sabi mo. Danger. Pag ba danger na sinulat ko, papasok. Ayan. Hindi ito. Ah, ito. Ito. Naku, medyo ano to ah. Older. Bar question. Almighty Apostles is a relatively new religious group. Okay, and so on. One time, Deep Throat, an investigative reporter, made a research, and study as to what the group's leader was actually doing. Deep Throat eventually came up with the conclusion that the leader was a phony who is just fooling the people to part with their money in exchange for the promise of eternal happiness in some faraway heaven. Pwedeng matanong sa bar to. Some version of this one. Alam niyo kung bakit? Nasa balita rin yan dati, di ba? Okay, tuloy tayo. This was published in a newspaper which caused much agitation among the followers. Okay. Some threatened violence against Deep Throat, while some others already started destroying properties while hurting those selling the newspaper. So, galit, no? The local authorities, afraid of the public disorder that such followers might do, decided to ban the newspaper with with the column of Deep Throat, no? Deep Throat went to court complaining about the prohibition placed on the dissemination of his article. He claims that the act of authorities partakes of the nature of a heckler's veto, thus a violation of the guarantee of press freedom. On the other hand, the authorities countered that the act was necessary to protect the public order and the greater interest of the community. If you were the judge, how would you resolve the issue? Guys, so meron tayong dalawang kailangan sagutin dito. What is heckler's veto? Siyempre. And clear and present danger. Huwag na natin sagutin yung sa heckler's veto. Sa clear and present danger tayo dito. So, in this case, is this a content-based or a content-neutral regulation? It is a content-based. Kasi the local authorities banned the distribution of the newspaper because of the article of Deep Throat. It's because of his article. Diba? It's the subject matter of what he was trying to say. Diba? Kasi because the subject matter of his speech was his investigation about the leader of Almighty Apostles. It's a content-based regulation. So as a general rule, this act of banning the newspaper is unconstitutional unless clear and present danger can be proven by the state. Okay. So in this case, may clear and present danger ba? Sabi po dito, ulitin natin. The local authorities. Ganito talaga, no? You need to, guys. Kaya gusto ko talaga next time. I don't know how will I do it, but I will do it. Kailangan maipakita ko sa inyo yung, parang reading comprehension, guys. Yung pagiging mahilig ko sa pagsagot sa entrance exam ng reading comprehension all these years, may paggaganahan pala. Okay. Pagsagot pala sa bar. Nakalagay dito the local authorities afraid of the public disorder that such followers might do. How is this clear? If the public disorder is speculative. Sabi po dyan, might, maybe is another word for might. Maybe this will happen. How can we say it's clear? And how can we say it's present if it's in the future? Might pa lang naman eh. It will be done later on. So it's not present. Diba? Ano kalaban ng present? Past at saka future. No? Sa future na lang tayo. Ano kalaban ng clear? Speculative. O, di ba? Get nyo. When you say it's clear, it's not speculative. It's already apparent. Yan. It's already obvious. Mas maganda yung pagkaka-discuss ko sa inyo ngayon. Ngayong pre-week kumpara sa nung lecture. Mas siya, mas simple, mas precise. When you say clear, di ba? It's not speculative. It is obvious. It is apparent. Without a shadow of a doubt. O, di ba? Mga ganyan. Pag mas pahirapan niyo pa yung sarili niyo. You get the point. Pag sinabi mong present, it's not in the future. Also not in the past. It must be here. Tama, kasi pag past, why are you regulating? Eh, nung araw pa pala nangyari yun. Okay, so, it's not in the past, it's not in the future, it's now. In this case, was there a clear and present danger? There was none. It was not clear. It was not present. It was still in the future and it is highly speculative in nature. So, di ba? The content-based regulation is unconstitutional. Nakigit nyo na, mga kapatid. Okay? Sige. O naalala niyo yung tanong ko kanina sa inyo sa Equal Protection Clause, the regional trial court judge banned the the religious expression of Muslims, di ba? Because Muslims have to pray 5 times a day, sabi dun sa facts, no? And they need to lay their mats, di ba? They need to express their beliefs, no? How will we answer that? Is this order by the RTC judge unconstitutional? Yes, it is unconstitutional. Why? Where's the clear and present danger? Ay, tama ba? Balik, expression, baliktad. Where's the clear and present danger? In this case pala, is the order of the judge a content-based regulation? The answer is yes. It was a content-based regulation because the judge is not only did not only prevent, did not only ban the expression, hindi pala, did not only ban the time, the place, no, when the Muslims can exercise their religion, can express their religion. He banned it even during break time. So, subject matter actually. The Muslims can speak on other things, social issues, political issues, but when it comes to religion, it's banned. O, di ba? The subject matter yan, when you pray, when they pray, not you, when they pray, when the Muslims pray, no? When the Muslims pray, when they express their religion, the RTC judge banned this expression. So it's a content-based regulation. Diba? So may clear and present danger ba in praying? There's none. There's none. Or there's not even a danger. They're peaceful. Diba? They were praying. That's why we'll answer that. Okay? Ay, mali na naman ako tinuro. Okay? Ganon. Okay, sige, sige. O ngayon, guys, how about yung pag-allow, di ba? May another part yung question yun. Ina-allow ng, ng judiciary na mag-conduct ng masses sa halls of justice during break time. Applying the Lemon Test, was the establishment clause violated? The answer is no. Ganito niya sagutin yan. What's the pwede mo nakalagay niya secular legislative purpose? How will you answer that? The building, sabihin natin of the conference room, the building of the empty hall, diba? It was secular in nature, no? It was built not for religion, not for religious expression, but for events. That is secular. To hold events for the judiciary, to hold events for court staff, diba? For government officials, you get it. That's the legislative, well, di naman legislative. That's the purpose of this governmental act in building an empty hall, conference hall. Okay? Yan. It's secular. It's not for religion. Next, second, di ba? The primary effect of this governmental act neither advances nor inhibits religion. The primary act of this is bigger events can be held. Diba? More events can be held. That's the primary effect. Incidental lang po na yun. Isang event na ginawa dyan, no, sorry for the word, but it's an event. No? It's a celebration. Wag na event. It's a celebration. It's just that incidentally, ang celebration dito naging Catholic. Naging religious. Incidental lang siya. Diba? Yan ang gusto ko talaga yung second test na yun. Yun talaga yung parang haymaker, uppercut basically, para masabi mo na hindi na violate yung establishment clause. Yan lagi. Yan lagi. Kasi insidenta lang po na naging Catholic yung Catholic Mass yung nangyayari. Pero normally, para po sa birthday ng court staff, birthday ni judge, no, ganyan, gathering ng mga judges, di ba? Seminar, yun po ang dahilan ba't meron yan. It's secular, its primary effect is uh, it did not advance Catholicism. It did not. And there is no excessive government entanglement kasi nga, it's for all celebrations. Okay, so you get the point. Ganon, di ba? Okay. Let's move to rule-making power of the Supreme Court. Tandaan niyo yan. Actually, simple lang siya. Di ba? Hindi siya mahirap intindihin. The Supreme Court has the power to promulgate rules, di ba, concerning pleading, practice, procedure, admission to the bar. Ano ba? May nakalimutan ba ako? Admission to the integrated bar, practice of law, di ba? Yung mga nakasulat dyan. Ang normal po na tanong dyan talaga, i-correlate natin sa Supreme Court, sa doctrine of separation of powers. Yan lagi. Kasi ang nangyayari po, nag-i-enact ng law o nag-i-enact ng executive order violating yung rule-making power of the Supreme Court. Ganun lagi ang approach dyan. Okay? Sige. Basa tayo ng mga sample bar questions. Congress enacted a law providing for trial by jury for those charged with crimes or offenses punishable by reclusion perpetua or life in prison. Pag sinabi mo kasing jury, the verdict will be given by private individuals, a group of private individuals selected, no, screened previously, no, screened before the trial commenced. Yan po ang jury. Sa Pilipinas po kasi, trial by judge. The judge will pronounce the verdict, no, whether guilty or not guilty yung accused. Yeah, the Congress enacted a law providing for a trial by jury. The law provides for the qualifications of the members of the jury, the guidelines for the bar and bench for their selection, the manner a trial by jury shall operate, and the procedures to be followed. Is the law unconstitutional? No, it's unconstitutional. Why? Kasi nga, it encroached upon the power of the Supreme Court to promulgate rules concerning the protection and, yung pala nakalimutan ko, protection and enforcement of constitutional rights, pleading practice and procedure in all courts. So in this case, ano po specifically na violate? Practice and procedure. Okay? Kasi, yung trial by jury, di ba? The judiciary must determine this. Diba? If a jury must be, di ba? Must be formed, di ba? For trials. Sila po dapat ang magpasa ng rules, hindi po ang Congress. Okay. Another pala, no, sa admission to the bar, di ba nakalagay dyan, the admission to the practice of law. Tandaan nyo, hindi po, iba po yung practice of law, iba yung admission to the bar, iba yung admission to a law school. Hindi po siya kasali. That's, yun ang nakakatuwa. Di ba nakakatuwa, pero surprising, hindi po kasali academic freedom sa bar syllabus. Pero madalas siya natatanong sa bar, to be honest. Admission to a law school, hindi po yan covered ng rule-making power of the Supreme Court. No? Ang cover lang po is admission to the bar, admission to the practice of law. So, pag nag-take na ng bar yan, hindi po sa law school. Ang nag-control ng admission to law school, ang nag-regulate niyan, CHED, along with the university kasi may academic freedom. Next question, no? We have a lot of examples. Congress enacted a law exempting certain government institutions from the payment of court fees. Attorney Christopher Timoteo challenged the constitutionality of the said law on the ground that only the Supreme Court has the power to fix and exempt entities from the payment of court fees. On the other hand, the Congress argues that the law is constitutional, as it has the power to enact the said law, for it was through legislative fiat that the Judiciary Development Fund and special allowance for judges and justices, the funding of which are sourced from the fees collected by the courts, were created. Thus, Congress further argues that if it can enact a law utilizing court fees to fund the JDF and SAJJ. A fortiori, it can enact a law exempting the payment of court fees. No. So, bakit po hindi? Practice and procedure na naman. Payment of docket fees is part of the procedure. You get the point. Diba? Ano ba? Ang dami. So, thus, ang ending statement nyo dapat is, thus, the Congress encroached upon the rulemaking powers of the Supreme Court, violating the doctrine of separation of powers. Ito, dalawang beses pa lang tinanong yung exemption sa docket fees, twice. Isa naman ito yung City of Masuerte. Okay, you get the point. Okay. Yung isang iniisip na tanong dito is Okay, 3 times ang natanong yung docket fees. Ito isa naman, Land Bank of the Philippines. A law was passed exempting the Land Bank of the Philippines from the payment of filing fees. Ayan. Thrice. Isa naman is itong Masuerte City. Tapos isa naman is yung SAJJ na to na topic. So you get the point, guys. Okay? Move tayo. Napindot ako sa laptop. Okay. Move tayo to the last topic, search and seizure. So sa search and seizure, tandaan nyo, in flagrante delicto. Iyon pong requisites ng search warrant at saka warrant of arrest. Sa na lang to? Sorry, remedial na lang na topic yan. Pero tandaan nyo, before we move sa next topic, sa search and seizure. Ang usual po na nagiging topic kung matatanong mo kayo sa search and seizure, sa requisites ng valid search warrant at saka valid warrant of arrest. Sa unang-una, 2 or more offenses were included in the same warrant. That's wrong. Kasi scattershot yan. Normally dyan lumalabas. At saka isa is general warrant. Okay? General warrant. Why? The particularity requirement under the Constitution was not met. For search warrants, diba? Particularity is if dalawa yan eh. Particularity of the place to be searched at saka yung things to be seized. So, dapat sa place to be searched, the description must prevent the search of other buildings within the community. Yan yung rephrase sa isip ko. Prevent the search of other places within the community. Ngayon naman, sa particularity of the things to be seized. The things as described in the warrant must have direct relation to the offense. Yan ang direct relation to the offense charge. So, what I'm trying to say is yan po normally ang itinatakel dyan. Particularity, pag political law. Kasi yung salitang scattershot warrant at saka general warrant, medyo political law na siya. Kung matatanong kayo ng remedial law, requisites ng warrant, if ever matatanong kayo dyan, sa pagkakaiba ng personal knowledge sa search warrant at saka personal evaluation sa warrant of arrest. Sa search warrant, kailangan personal examination in the form of searching questions and answers, di ba? Under oath or affirmation done by the judge himself. No? The warrant of arrest, hindi po. The judge will only personally evaluate the findings of the prosecutor along with the evidence attached to the record. Something like that. Attached to the record. Attached to the information and the evidence submitted by the prosecution to the Supreme Court, to the court. Okay, you get the point. No? Next tayo sa in flagrante delicto arrest at saka sa hot pursuit. In flagrante delicto, ulitin natin, no? Dapat overt act saka in his presence. In his presence means all the senses of the person. Touch, sight, smell, taste, at saka tama ba? Touch, okay. Sight, smell, hearing, hearing at saka taste. Okay. Ayan, tandaan nyo they work hand in hand. So dapat in his presence, in his senses, he saw an overt act indicating the commission of an offense. Okay. Sa hot pursuit naman, sinabi ko na sa inyo before, no, that it's not required that the police officer, no, is is an eyewitness, di ba? To the crime. It's not required. No? Kailangan lang, based on his own, no? Based on his personal evaluation, observation, perception, at the scene of the crime, di ba? He can deduce, no? He can deduce information based on his personal knowledge, no? About the facts and circumstances, based on his personal observation, evaluation, and observation, evaluation, perception, based on these things, personal knowledge of the facts and circumstances that the person to be arrested has committed it. So the judge, the judge today, the arresting officer will have personal knowledge as to the facts and circumstances that the person to be arrested has committed the crime. And on top of that, diba, kailangan ng immediacy test. Based sa jurisprudence natin, 1 day yan. After 1 day, you need to secure a search warrant na. If hindi ka nag-secure ng search warrant, magiging unreasonable yung search. Okay, so that unreasonable yung search, it's invalid, exclusionary rule sa fruit of the poisonous tree. Everything ceased. Everything ceased will be inadmissible in evidence. Kasi the initial search was unreasonable. With that being said, no, search incidental to unlawful arrest, ang next na topic dyan, di ba? Assuming na may valid warrant or may valid warrantless arrest, pupunta na tayo ng search incidental to unlawful arrest, whether warrantless or with warrant. Okay, so pag sinabi mong search, no, how extensive can the search become, no, within the area of within the permissible within the area of immediate control, yun, of the person to be of the person arrested, area of immediate control. Get nyo na yan? So in search incidental to unlawful arrest, the arrest happens first and then the search happens after. Arrest and then search. Pag sinabi mong stop and frisk, pag sinabi mong other two, moving extensive search of a moving vehicle at saka yung pangalan ito, checkpoint search. In all of these scenarios, search happens first before the arrest. Stop and frisk, genuine reason. How can there be genuine reason? At least two suspicious circumstances when taken together will reveal the genuine reason. No? That will reveal a genuine reason that in light of the surrounding circumstances and the experience of the police officer, criminal the activities may be afoot. No? Extent ng search sa stop and frisk. Outer body clothing search. The bag cannot be searched. The underwear cannot be searched. Okay? The inside of the shoes cannot be searched. Dito. Pag checkpoint search, visual search, di ba? Get mo na yun. So, kaya sa checkpoint, no, hindi pwede yung tinitingnan yung looban ng motor. Bawal yun. Di ba? Kailangan, labas lang. Visual. Extensive search, there is probable cause, di ba, of a commission of a crime. Since may probable cause na po na may ginawang crime, yung checkpoint search, mag-upgrade na to extensive search. Pwede na talaga. So, what's the extent of the search mo na dito? The persons can be searched. And by the way, sa search incidental to unlawful arrest, the underwear can be searched, di ba? Kasi immediate control eh. Immediate control yung underwear, di ba? Pati loob ng sapatos ng offender. Same thing pala sa offender tuloy, person arrested. Sa extensive search, same thing. Kasi may probable cause nga na may crime na na-commit. So, the whole car can be searched. The person can be searched. The bags inside the car can be searched. Everything can be searched. Even the underwear can be searched. How can there be probable cause? Ito nga nakakatuwa eh. Di ba two suspicious circumstances yun sa stop and frisk? Same thing po sa extensive search. Probable cause din. Pero magkakaiba. Yung isa, genuine reason lang that criminal liability may be afoot. Yung isa naman, commission of an offense na. May ginawa talaga yung tao sa loob. Hindi pwedeng, baka may ginawa. Yun yung sa Di ba? Yun yung sa stop and frisk eh. In light of my experience, hating gabi, hindi maganda yung lugar. Tapos na suspicious, no? Nakita ko, mapuling mata, no? Tapos, pagewag-gewang yung tao, ay baka pwede ko siyang stop and frisk. See? Ganon. Ngayon, yung dahil ng pag-ewang-gewang niya, hindi po automatic na drugs yun. Genuine reason lang. Ako, medyo kaduda-duda to basically. On the other hand, yung extensive search, probable cause that an offense was committed na. No? Meron talaga siyang nakakita, nung tinignan niyo yung kotse, merong intel, di pala intel kasi hearsay yun normally. Tip, hearsay, no, di okay. Nakita talaga niya, chinek nung police officer yung kotse na, ako, mukhang may mali dito Amoy marijuana. Ganyan. That's one suspicious circumstance. On top of that, mausok. Blurry sa loob ng kotse. Di ba? Hindi malinaw. Di, ano yun? Smoke yun, di ba? Amoy pa. Probable cause. See the difference? Isa genuine reason lang. Of course, pag stop and frisk, pwedeng more than genuine reason. Di ba talagang may nangyari na? Di pwede talaga ano yun yung tao. Anyway, you get the point, guys. Okay? Okay. Last tayo, plain view. Sa plain view, di ba may tatlo, apat na requisites yan. Una is, prior justification. No? Prior justification, tapos next is immediately apparent. Next is inadvertent. Last is plain view search must be conducted without any further search. So, pinaka-important yung first three. There must be prior justification for the initial intrusion. In Tagalog, may justified ka dapat sa unang pagpasok mo dyan sa building. Initial intrusion mo doon sa bahay, meron ka justification ba't ka napasok. Ba't ka pumasok? Yun lang yun. Whether search warrant yan, whether inimbitahan ka kasi bisita ka, birthday party, ganun. Or, no, ano ba? Naka-open yung bahay. Kasi pag naka-open yung bahay, hindi po unreasonable, di ba? Hindi siya violation ng hindi siya violation of domicile. If the house is open, the door is open, no? Ang tawag dito, the police officer can go inside the house unless it is against the will of the property owner. Pag sinabi talaga kahit bukas yan, wag kang papasok, pumasok ka pa din, ano reasonable threat siya? Pero pag bukas yan, wala namang comment, wala nagkasabi sa yung bawal, hindi siya illegal, hindi siya violation of domicile. Pag nag-correlate na sa crime to. Okay, sige. So, next is immediately apparent, di ba? The police officer must not search inside the cabinets, the boxes, the containers, no, for contraband. And last na important is inadvertent pala yun, inadvertent, no? Yun. Hindi dapat sinasadya, basically, yung Tagalog. Hindi sinasadya, hindi sinadya. Tapos, inadvertent, immediately apparent. The illegality, the nature, the illegal nature of this thing to be seized must be immediately apparent. It is obvious. Diba? May tanong sa bar, no? Ganito. Ako, taong ko to eh. Nabubuisit talaga ako, hindi ko nasagot ng tama ata. Pumasok. Ngayon, parang yung isang kotse, hindi, parang may drugs na nakuha sa loob. Tapos yung kotse sa labas, nagduda sila, baka smuggle, baka carnap. Kotse, nagduda sila. Kinuha nila yung kotse. Later nakita nila na yung kotse nga pala carnap. Tanong, inadmissible o admissible? Ang sagot, inadmissible po. Kasi the illegal nature of this car was not immediately apparent. Hindi siya plain view. Kotse lang naman siya, hindi naman baril yan, hindi naman droga yan. Di ba? Hindi po ganun. By this space, it's legal. It's legal to have cars in the Philippines. Okay? So, hindi po siya papasok sa plain view doctrine. Because of not immediately apparent. Because it is not the illegal nature of this property was not immediately apparent. Pwedeng may prior justification for initial intrusion. Pwedeng inadvertent mo nakita kasi nasa garahe. Inadvertent yun. Malaki yun eh. Okay? Pero yun, sa pangatlo tayo nag-case kasi not immediately apparent. Anyway, without further overloading you with info. Magbasa tayo ng bar questions, and then we'll answer it, analyze it accordingly before we end our discussion for tonight, mga kapatid. Couple of questions. No? Okay, siguro mga 3 will do. Basahin ko nga yung ano ko, dahil nagkakanta ko lagi na nahihirapan ako sa bar question. Bar question ko, namin, no? Hindi pala ko, namin. Ito, ano ba yung question namin? May up yun eh, up something. Ito, GPS pala. Okay. As a car driver was getting into their car, inside the parking area of a mall in Makati, two individuals suddenly came from behind them. One pointed a gun to the car's driver's head, while the other grabbed the keys, no, in the driver's hands. The two then sped away with the car. So carnapping, di ba? Carnapping yan. After recovering from the initial shock, the driver took their smartphone and opened the app Find My Car. O di may GPS, ano pala, no? App. Find My Car is an app that tracks in real time the movement and location of a car through a GPS device installed in the car. So naglagay po ng ano doon ng add-on, no? Nalaman ko kasi kotse. The driver went to the nearest police station and showed the officers the current location of the car as shown on their smartphone. The car appeared to stop at a spot in Novaliches, QC. 6 hours after the car had been stolen, a combined team of elite police officers from the HPG and the CIDG, by force and without a warrant, searched a private home in Novaliches, QC. The private home was pinpointed by the car's GPS tracker as displayed on the phone of the driver. Buti na nakuha yung phone, no? Hindi na ikuha with the vehicle. The private home is enclosed by a gate and is equipped with security cameras. In the private home's garage, the police officers found the driver's car along with two other cars which matched police records of previously stolen motor vehicles. Ito yung plain view doctrine na sinasabi ko. The officers seized all of the three cars. Right then and there, they also arrested the owner of the private home who was subsequently charged with carnapping. Are the seized cars admissible in evidence? So, mahirap po yung tanong, no? Nakarnap. After 6 hours, napunta doon, pinuntahan yung bahay, walang warrant, pinasok, kinuha yung, ang tawag dito, inimpound yung mga kotse, tapos inaresto yung tao. Ano po ang mag-a-apply na rules dito? Search incidental to a lawful arrest, but the answer is no. To analyze a question as technical as this one, ang una mo dapat titingnan, ano ang unang ginawa? Nag-search ba muna o nag-aresto? In this case po, nag-search. Nag-impound muna eh. Pag ini-impound mo, naghanap ka. Di ba? Nag-impound muna ng kotse. Search happened first before the arrest. So, i-X na natin yung IFD, in flagrante, X na yan. X na yung hot pursuit, X na yan. X na rin itong search incidental to a lawful arrest. Saan po tayo iikot ngayon? Sa tatlo na ito kasi walang warrant eh. May valid stop and frisk ba? May valid extensive search of a moving vehicle ba? Wala po. Unang-una, hindi na moving yung vehicle, nakapark na nga eh. At hindi po ito stop and frisk kasi iba po context ng stop and frisk, di ba? Criminal liability may be afoot. Sa highway po ginagawa yun normally. Sa loob ng bahay ito ginawa. So, ang sagot po dito is yung general rule. Searches and seizures without a search warrant is unreasonable. Because none of the exceptions for warrantless arrest, for valid warrantless arrest, is present in this case. Kung nagdadrive pa yung tao, dinadrive pa yung kotse, sabihin natin, paikot-ikot sa Metro Manila. Ayan, extensive search of a mobile vehicle, pwede. Kasi may probable cause. Diba? Meron din two suspicious circumstances. Ano yan? Yung GPS. Pangalawa, ano? Yung impression ng driver na nagpunta siya sa nearest police office, police station, di ba? Alam mo yan, hulas yan, di ba? Takot, adrenaline. Okay, you get the point. You get the point. Hindi ko na kailangan i-describe pa sa inyo further. Pwede kang mag-extensive search of a moving vehicle. Okay, so in this case po, none of the valid warrantless searches are present. So, actually, hindi na nga kailangan ng plain view eh. Hindi na po kailangan. Pero kung sabihin natin, if you want to invoke plain view, ang sagot dyan is, hindi po immediately apparent na illegal yung two other impounded cars. Hindi. Kahit na later on nalaman na smuggled o carnap yan, no. Kasi it's not apparent. Buti pa yung unang kotse, yung talagang kotse ng driver na nanakawan, may GPS eh. Immediately apparent na carnap vehicle, yun, no problem. Yung other two, may GPS pa, wala naman eh. Kinuha lang nila just because. So, hindi siya pasok sa plain view doctrine. Pero ito nga ang sagot ko. Dapat, no? Hindi ko na po dapat, okay. Hindi ko na po dapat finactor in yung plain view kasi ang sagot dyan is after mo sabihin na wala sa mga warrantless exemptions, warrantless search exemptions yung sagot, the general rule will apply. Since the general rule will apply, no warrant, invalid yung search, exclusionary rule takes place. And fruit of the poisonous tree. Yung unang kotse, exclusionary rule yun. Evidence obtained in violation of Section 2 is inadmissible. Inadmissible siya kasi exclusionary rule eh, no? Section 3 of the Constitution, paragraph 2 ba? May memory serves me right. Yun ang dahilan, no? Ngayon, yung second and third cars na inimpound din, kaya po sila inadmissible fruits of the poisonous tree. They were fruits of the initial seizure of the first car. Ito naging fruit. Also inadmissible kasi nga the initial search was unconstitutional in the first place. So these are all fruits of the poisonous tree. Anong dapat sinagot? No? Even nga ito nasa bar Q&A namin sa enrollees, naglagay pa ako ng there was an invalid hot pursuit arrest. Shouldn't have included that. Yeah. Meron ka lang na-realize din kung nire-discuss ko sa inyo. Shouldn't have included. Yun lang yung sagot doon. No? Hindi na natin kailangan pa, kasi nga pag sinabi mong search incidental to a lawful arrest, the arrest happens first before the search. In this case, nag-search muna eh. Pero I get it. I think sa bar Q&A yung mga enrollees, I will just stick to what I answered muna. Kasi you can answer it, ano eh, you can answer it in another way. No? Pwede mo sabihin na, pero hindi, no. A search talaga happened before the arrest. Kasi sabi dito, right then and there, they also arrested the owner of the private home. So, ibig sabihin, nagkaroon muna ng search talaga bago nag-arrest. Okay, so you get the point. No? One more, then I think we can wrap this up. Tandaan niyo po ito, public transport bus. No? Hindi ko na ilagay ito. Ilagay ko pala ito. Tandaan niyo, public transport bus, limited din po yung right to privacy ng tao. Okay? They are subject to routine inspection similar to airport and seaport. Hindi po katulad ng taxi yan. Taxi hindi talaga pwede, hindi mo pwede papasukin yan o Grab or ride-hailing apps, hindi pwede. Search mo because nasa public utility vehicle, wrong. Hindi po ganoon. Even sa FX, wala naman dito sa PAX. Ang nasa PAX po dito sa case na nabasa natin. Airport, may routine inspection. Seaport, yes. Ang bus din po meron. Okay? Metal detectors and X-ray scanning can be installed at bus terminals. Passengers can also be frisked. Di ba? Kasi ito, whenever a bus picks passengers en route, so di ba, sa gilid ng kalsada, kumuha, no? This is, they can be frisked then, no? And his or her luggage can be subjected to the same routine inspection. Basically, everything you have, okay, pwedeng i-search. Last one, last one. Ito, five foreign nationals arrived at the NAIA from Hong Kong. After retrieving their checked-in luggage, they placed all their bags in one pushcart and proceeded to Express Lane 5. They were instructed to place their luggage on the examiner's table for inspection. The examiner found brown boxes, similar in size to powdered milk boxes, underneath the clothes inside the bags. The examiner discovered white crystalline substances, deja vu, inside the boxes that were inspected and proceeded to bundle all the boxes by putting masking tape around them. So, handed it, hinan po over yung boxes sa BOC, Bureau of Customs, chinek yung laman, nalaman na, kinuha yung laman, the contents of the boxes were thereafter subjected to test which confirmed that they are shabu. So, in this case po ba, violation ba to? In this case po ba, the back and the shabu found inside the boxes be admitted against the five foreigners? The answer is yes. Why? Kasi airport search. Diba? Routine inspection can be done in airports. Yun po ang sagot dyan. No? Yun. Anyway, I think we can wrap up our discussion for political law. Ayun, no, tandaan nyo lang, ako nga din, ngayon ko lang naisip, kasi nag-search sila muna nun bago nag-arrest. Dapat, hindi ko na finactor in yung hot pursuit. There's no need. Pero okay din naman, no? I think, iniisip ko nga kung ano eh, should I change it? Kasi parang dapat nabanggit. Yun. I just need to mention dun sa answer na, thus, the search incidental to lawful arrest will not apply along with hot pursuit arrest. That's how I will answer it. I will revise the answer, no? Para sa mga enrollees. Basta yun naman, anyway, you don't have to read it anymore. Pero ang sagot ko dyan is, yun. Sa tanong na yun, itong search incidental, IFD, HP, arrest, hindi po sila dapat pinactor in kasi nga, in these cases, arrest happens first before the search. Dito nag-search muna, nag-impound muna ng kotse at saka lang, saka lang, tawag dito, nag-arresto ng tao. So, dapat hindi siya in-apply. Okay. Anyway, guys, salamat po sa pakikinig, no? All 8 subjects are now done, no? Nahirapan tayo, pero worth it naman. Kasi mas maganda na yung equipment, mas manageable lang magsalita ng matagal, unlike before. Salamat po, no? Without the law students, without the bar takers supporting me nung simula, I wouldn't be in this position right now. So, I'm not talking about the review center na, I'm talking about my growth online. Salamat po, no? Kay una kong mga supporters talaga, una kong mga fans, to the point na you joined me. No? You believed in me sa mga lectures. You believed in me sa mga discussions, reviews na ginawa natin. I apologize for any inconsistencies, ano ba, wrong na mga ginawa namin for this first year. We will do better sa mga lower years nyo, na mga friends nyo. I promise, whatever we did now, we will make things better, no more pressure, no, sa mga susunod na taon. So, I hope you pass the bar. Lahat kayo, whether enrollees or nag-avail lang ng pre-week lectures, I hope all of you will pass the bar. Kasi, someone will pass. Why not you? Di ba? May papasa eh. Hindi naman pwedeng wala. Ba't hindi ikaw? So, sana pumasa kayo lahat. Thank you. Thank you for the support. Thank you for believing in me. And I promise, no, well, I promise that we will do better every year. We will become better every year. And we will be even better than what we did nitong 2024 bar season. Everything will be more refined, more streamlined, more precise, more materials, and ano ba? Even me, I grew this past year. I grew along with you guys. You grew, mas hinog na kayo, mag-take ng bar. Ako din po. No? Ang dami ko rin natutunan because of doing this. No? Doing this for countless of hours, talking to myself, and hoping that it resonates with you. No? Yung sinasabi ko. Ang dami ko rin po natutunan talaga as a lecturer. No? Even ako sabi ko, ang dalas, habang nag-lecture ako, nagkakaroon ako ng bagong perspective sa batas. Some things na sinasabi ko before na no, huwag nyo na isipin yan. Nagkakaroon ako ng recollection, nagkakaroon ako ng reconsideration, nagkakaroon ako ng bagong thoughts. And even the way I explain things. So, kaya po, nag-viral yung mga videos ko sa TikTok, sa Facebook. It's because of you guys. Kasi my main goal is to make things simple for you. And it's not an easy task. No, kasi it's hard to make a complicated subject simple. It's hard. Kasi before you can make it simple, you must first understand it. And once you understand it, nung ka lang magkakaroon ng next step na pasimplihin. And I wouldn't be able to do these things if you did not believe in me. Diba? That I can deliver. I can deliver. Yung mga lectures ko na lang, yung lectures ng iba. Me, personally, when I talk to you, when I speak to you, I can deliver. It's because you believe in me. That's why gumaling din po the way I explain sa camera, the way I talk sa camera, the way I deliver my lines sa camera. It's because of you guys. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining me, believing in me, trusting me. Ayan. Ano ba? I think I can announce no sa mga nakaabot at this point, no, sa review, sa pre-week lecture videos, no, kasi last video na to, no. So I will mention that uh, I will conduct outside na po ito ng package, no, kasi the package is only uh, pre-week lectures video, pre-week reviewers, and LMT materials. Ang initial ko po sana na plano is wala na dapat LMT videos. Wala nang LMT lectures kasi nga LMT na Last minute tips o LMT na, last minute predictions. However, no, ang ganda po kasi na-release namin ng napakaaga itong materials na to with the videos. Kasi nga nag-upgrade din tayo ng equipment So yan, hindi ko talaga minsan talaga kailangan nag-upgrade ka ng equipment para mas bumibilis yung process of making things. Mas madali po this time. So nagawa namin earlier. Saka nakakita, pre-week nga, dapat ni-release namin to ng late August. Nagawa namin ng early July. Di ba? Ma-release namin lahat. Complete. So natutuwa po ako. So with that being said, we have a lot of extra time between all of us. Well, not you pala. For me, I have extra time. With that being said, if you are in Metro Manila, I will conduct lectures. Ang gusto ko lang sana, hindi ko siya mamahalan. Gusto ko lang ma-offset. Mabayaran natin yung irentahan kong function hall. Kasi irenta tayo If I'm expecting, kasi yung function hall can contain around 150 people. So, hindi siya mura. Diba? And I hope a lot of you will attend. No? So, lahat ng mga nakikinig at nanonood nitong pre-week lecture. Okay? I will announce the price. Sabi ko sa inyo, the price will not be expensive. Gusto ko lang siyempre. Siyempre, hindi naman ako ma-negative dun sa di ba? Sa events place. Events place, grabe naman. Doon sa hall, na rentahan natin kasi malaki. No? And I will announce the dates. I will announce the package. No? Special na to ng package na. And even law students can attend kung gusto na ng advanced class, advanced lessons, pwede. I will send the location. Anyway, yung location is near our coffee shop din. Sa coffee shop, nandun lang din sa coffee shop namin, malapit na events place. Doon ko na lang i-conduct yung last minute predictions, yung lectures. Okay? And, ayun, if we will have extra time pa, discuss lang. Ganun naman talaga eh. No? If you can do it one time, do it multiple times. Kung may extra time ka hanggang sa mag-get mo. And then later on, papasa ka na ng bar. So, ganun lang. Plano ko every weekend eh. Like Sunday siguro, Saturday, Sunday, conduct natin. And kahit naman inuulit-ulit mo batas, sabihin natin, tinakal ng search and seizures for 2 straight days. Sulit yun. Kasi ganun talaga. Diba? Basically, kung even yung sinabi ko, di naman same yung script ko, diba? Nakita niyo naman ako, iba ako mag-discuss. Iniiba ko lagi approach. Sabihin lang natin, assuming for the sake of argument, na same yung, same yung script ko. Saturday, Sunday. Hindi, okay lang. Diba? At least, parang third read nyo na yun, o fourth read, diba? Yun lang naman. Okay. See you soon, guys. Thank you. Peace.